Welcome back, Shalloners, and welcome back, Beliebers. I know some of you guys are like, oh God, another Justin video. Yeah, man, another Justin video. You know why? Because Justin lately, and I know he's like out and about more than usual because he's promoting his new album, Changes, which, you know, I hate the name and I think it's stupid and soft and whack, but he's giving us just a lot of content, a lot to talk about. And we did a video on how he was such a blabbermouth about his sex life with Hailey and how we can learn to spot whether or not a guy is just using us for sex. Today, we're going to keep talking about that quote he gave because it was so like, all right, it was so like strange and jarring. And we're going to talk about what to do if a guy you're hooking up with decides to tell everyone your business. What do you do about it? Is it actually a compliment? And how do you preserve your reputation no matter what, right? We're gonna break it all down. Plus talk about what's going on with Justin and Hailey. And come back next time because we're gonna talk about some weird instances that are coming up with Justin that people are saying are like almost abusive. Like he's showing a really weird temper. He's yelling at Hailey, he's hitting her. We'll get there. We'll get there, all right? Just come back tomorrow. But first, just want to remind you guys to follow me on Instagram for some daily motivational quotes. I help you guys connect with one another and get some motivation, inspiration, plus all my travel and fashion adventures. And I let you guys take polls and weigh in on the next video topic. It's super fun. Also, I've decided to put Pulpy, who you might remember from my last video about like Caroline Flack and Kobe's death, in the video because he's like my emotional support octopus. I just love him. Excuse me. I love you, even though you make me allergic. And I'll put the link if you want to buy him. I found him on Amazon. I bought him in a boutique in my like in my hometown, and I was like, he's a one of a kind. He's not. He's on Amazon Prime, so you can get him there, and you can have your very own Pulpy. But he's just, look at the way he looks at me. You're so proud of me. Yeah, I know. He's the best. And this is a size large. If you're curious about Pulpy, which means octopus in Italian. So let's talk about Justin. So recently, and we talked about this in the last video about it, but a fan asked him after he performed at the O2 Arena, I think, something like that. Yeah, the O2 earlier this week. What do you like to do in your spare time? Very innocuous question, right? You could say, I like to shave cats. I like to blow my hair dry. I like to pick the petals off of a single yellow rose. You could say basically anything. Your fan would be like, ah, ha, ha, just like so delighted. He chose to say this. When I'm with my wife, and you know how my impression of him has now become Kate McKinnon's impression of him? Like, when I'm with my wife, we get like, you guys can guess what we do. It gets pretty crazy. That's pretty much all we do. We like to watch movies. We like to Netflix and chill, but we definitely do more of the chilling. Justin, oh God. So they bone is what if you didn't pick up the incredible nuanced subtleties he's putting down, they like to do the sex. Okay. First of all, no duh. Like that's pretty much what a lot of us like to do. So it doesn't really even need to be like said. But the fact that he did say it rubbed a lot of people, me, the wrong way because Hailey is not like that kind of girl who's like super open about her sex life. She's not like Cardi B where, you know, she's talking about it like that. Like this almost even makes more sense for someone like Christina Aguilera. She's like, we cook naked. You know what I mean? It just seemed very out of left field and very much like something she would not have appreciated. And had he run that by her, she would have been like, no, do not say that. No. No, like her dad is a born again Christian. She was homeschooled for God's sakes. Like this does not add up to someone who wants, like, yes, let people know that if we're not in public, we fucking. No, because it's also weird because they're married. And I've talked about this in other videos, how like the more serious you are, the less information you divulge about your sex life. And that a huge reason of that is maturity. First of all, presumably, by the time you're married, you are mature and you've gotten those like kind of slutty years out of your system. So you don't need to be like, and then he put his finger. It's just like you've kind of already done that. And for a guy, you don't need to boast like, I'm putting my P in a V. It's going inside. My wiener is going. It's like, we got it. We have all got it. Because like, Justin, you've boned a billion girls. You boned every girl but like me and my friend. I mean, the day ain't over yet. You never know. How old is he? 25? He's a little old for me, but we'll figure it out. So it's like, it's a maturity thing that by the time you're in a very serious relationship, you've kind of gotten your yayas out in terms of talking about your sex life. And hello, the larger reason you don't do this is respect. You have respect for your partner. They're not just some girl you're boning. He's not just a one-night stand. This is your life partner. You took vows. You have a contract with the state. Like, don't you maybe think about something else when you think of your spouse and not just her badge? I've seen it. I do think, it's like, my God, stop it. And so you guys might not be married, and you might not be married to a celebrity if you are, but I know you have dealt with this issue, and if you haven't, oh God, buckle up. Because it's, of course the patriarchy likes to say girls love to gossip. Okay, we do, objection sustained, but when guys gossip, it's to prove something. Do you know what I mean? Men communicate to solve problems, women communicate to build relationships. And part of the reason men communicate to solve problems is to build their own ego because they need to feel useful, right? They need to feel autonomous. They need to feel like a man. So looking at gossip, man gossip through that filter, and Justin's comments through that filter, he's saying this to prove himself as a man, right? And women, when we talk about, it's like, oh my God, and then he did this, blah, blah, blah. We're communicating to build relationships with our girlfriends. We're bonding. And a huge part of that is learning. I want to know, like when I was younger, I don't do this anymore because I'm not what I'm doing. I know I'm good. But it was like, oh, is that what you do? Give me the tips. You do this, that's the motion. Kim Kardashian's sex tape taught me that. And child, it works. Give it a shot. And like, you want that information, and that's part of being young, the exchange of information. That's why it's more common when you're younger to have friends of the opposite sex, because like they're giving you insight into this like strange different gender over there, you know, boys, girls, how weird. But as you get older, the need for that falls away to the degree that it is when you're young. And so the fact that Justin has not transitioned to that category of, I respect my partner and I have nothing to prove as a dude. People assume I have gotten laid many times. More than once. I know how to do the sex. The fact that that isn't his vibe is very strange. But what do we always say about Justin? What do we always say about Justin? Fame arrests you at the age at which it occurs. Why? Fame is a type of trauma. Fame is a type of trauma. And one of you guys said in the comments, you know, because I talk about this every time I talk about Justin, because it informs all of his behavior and all of his patterns and his pathology. It's like, well, too bad we all go through trauma. Okay, yes, that's true. Okay, let's say that that's 100% true, that we all experience trauma to the level of becoming an international superstar. We don't. So then what age are you stuck at, girl? If this is something none of us can escape, why are you so mad that I'm pointing it out? Because clearly it's affecting you too. Do you know what I mean? So if we want to be like, who cares? If you have that like very strong reaction to something I say, whether it's about this or whether it's about anything, it's because it's kicking up something inside of you, right? And, you know, when I talk about celebrities that I detest, like Selena Gomez, the reason I detest her is because she's a liar and she has been a drug addict and lied about it. And I don't like liars. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. And she's lying to her fans and victimizing herself. And I have had so many people in my life who have behaved that way. And now I'm so attuned to seeing it in the world that it makes me fucking crazy because I am hardwired to fix other people. Look what I do here on this channel. Look what I have done historically in my family. That's the role of my family, rush in and save. And so I don't like people manipulating that instinct within me. That's why I don't like Selena. We're off topic. We're off topic. So Justin was frozen at like 14, 15, you know? He also did not have parents who were there for him. I mean, his mother is only 15 years older than he is. She's young, you know? So she didn't have like, she was barely keeping her head above water as he was becoming famous. His dad is, I mean, the soul patch alone, the chain wallet, like the weird flourished denim. Fucking forget about it. Justin could have been raised by a basset hound and turned out better. Basset hounds are incredible providers. But when you look at Justin bragging about his sex life through the filter of that's a teenage boy bragging, you're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what my little brother would say, right? That tracks. But what can we learn about this, right? Because we can talk about Justin all day and all night. Sometimes I do. I love it. And you know I love him. Last fuckable day. I got to bring it up every time. And I love Hailey. And weirdly, I do kind of like them together. I don't know. When I do the video on his like abusive behavior, I'm kind of starting to turn a corner with my shipping of their relationship. We'll talk about it. We'll get there. But we always have to deal with men slandering us and our reputation. And it's a sick fact. It is a sick fact. A man can commit a crime, social crime, 100 times before anyone brands him as that thing. And even then, oh, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Oh, I don't know. Is he really like a rapist? I don't know. 5 women have come forward. What a mystery. You know, but a woman does one thing in that category. Sorry, the light's reflecting. One slutty thing. She's a slut forever. She's stupid forever. She's a retard. He's a fag. Whatever it is. Whatever like word is being foisted on a woman, or like a cis woman, a trans woman, whatever you want. If you're in the woman category in any way, brothers and sisters, I am sorry, because you're going to get it the way all of us women do, and it's not real fun. And so we have to be very, very judicious about our reputation, you know? And I get questions from you guys, because you can ask me individual questions. Like, I want to go, like, I'm in my hoe phase. Like, I'm 19. I just got to a college. Like, I want to break out and branch out. I was like, I get it. I get it. Save the hoe until after college. Because what you do in this fishbowl of your school, and it is, you are not anonymous there. It is a small, homogenous environment that is not changing a lot. And you can't get away from it. That is going to stick, right? I still remember this girl, the first night in the dorms at Cal Poly, she boned a dude. And I always think of her as like Danielle the Slut. She's not, like, she's a lawyer now. But it's like, when I look at her, I'm like, that's a dude who boned a guy the first night in the dorms. And she had the Danielle the Slut reputation for 4 years. And you know what? She lived up to it. Like, she herself started to think of herself as Danielle the Slut. And so the thing she did was like, well, and I know these were like unconscious micro calculations in her mind. It's like, well, everyone thinks I'm a slut, so why would I go home with this guy? Why wouldn't I do a keg stand in a skirt and let everyone see my thong? Like, I'm Danielle the Slut. I'm the party girl. I'm the fun girl. This is okay. This is who I am. So that reputation affected her for 4 years, and definitely into adulthood. Definitely. You know, like, it's, you can't shake that. So our reputation is very, very important. Not because it matters so much what other people think. Fuck them. It matters what we call ourselves, what language we use to define who we are, to fuel bad decisions, to pull ourselves away from a good path because we don't deserve it. We're Shallon the Slut. I can't do this. No. So when someone talks about us and slanders us, we can't necessarily take it lying down, but freaking out a lot of times can make it worse. So here's my antidote to a bad reputation. You don't stage a PR campaign against it necessarily, because that's going to give more eyes on the crisis, as I call it. You live to the contrary. So like, celebrities are constantly in hot water. They're constantly canceled. People are digging up old tweets. I'm sure it'll come from me at one point. I'm a blabbermouth and I'm not really that funny. Like, I'll like make a joke that I think is funny and people are like, you're very dumb. I'm like, yeah, probably. And like, should the acts of public opinion swing in my direction, you know what I'm going to say about things? 0. We live in a 12-minute news cycle world. In 24 hours, people are going to forget about stuff. And that's like in Instagram, like there's a new thing like, hey, when was the last time you thought about the Australia brush fires? Right? Probably not actually for a few weeks. You've been thinking about coronavirus. You've been thinking about the election. You've been thinking about other things. Like, you're just like, oh yeah, that was a big deal. Whatever happened with that? I don't know. And that is how our lives work, you know? And the more we see this when celebrities like weigh in on their scandal, and then it's just like, that's another headline that someone gets to write. That's another retweet. That's another response that other people get to give. That's more backlash they have to do. And it's like, if they had said nothing, it would have died out. So if you hear that a dude is like, blah, 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 Shallon is the blowjob queen. I mean, it could be worse, right? Like, you don't want to be like, excuse me, hello, ding, ding, ding. I am not the blowjob queen. Well, I'm not. I mean, I know what I'm doing. But the point is, we shouldn't be talking about it, which I am talking about it now. So I can understand how it gets away from you. The message gets away from you. The way to deal with it is privately and publicly. Okay, privately. You go to this motherfucker with a pair of scissors, you pull down his pants, you're like, you want to do this the easy way or the hard way? Like, how are we going to work this out, Jeff? I don't know. You call him out and be like, I really don't appreciate this. And the fact that it's getting around to me that you've been talking about intimate details or showing intimate pictures literally makes my skin crawl at how ridiculous and immature you are. Because what did we say about why guys do this? To feel like a man. So you reduce him to the disgusting trash child he is. That's what you do. So you clearly are out of your depth in the sexual arena. I could tell that from your skills, but now the fact that you behaved this way after shows me exactly how inexperienced you are. And like I said, I could tell that from how you were in bed because you're awful. And this just makes me so cringy and so embarrassed for you, so deeply embarrassed for you, because I thought I was dealing with someone on my level, and clearly I'm dealing with like a mental child. So do not speak to me nor about me. You're so below my league. I'm almost happy for you that you got to experience a woman of my caliber, but that's over now. I hope you wrote it down in your diary because this is never going to happen again. Shame them. Shame them. Men shame us all the time. We're supposed to feel ashamed for having pubic hair. You know what men have everywhere? Hair. It's all over the goddamn place. The hair is there for a reason, all right? It's the lawn around the house, and it makes you slide better when you have sex. Groom? Scale the hedges back? Don't feel like you're some disgusting reptile person that has to be like this hairless snake. It's bizarre. Again, we are off topic. We are off topic. So you shame him. And don't come from a place of, hey, you really hurt my feelings. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. Never appeal to emotions that someone doesn't have. And you can tell what emotions they have by how they behave. He is not behaving in a way that's respectful. So you don't say, hey, you disrespected me. He doesn't give a shit. He's not behaving in a way that's protecting your heart. So don't say, hey, you broke my heart. He doesn't care. You attack him where it hurts. You say, what is this behavior fueled by? A need to look cool. So I'm going to let him know how deeply uncool he is. You look like a clown to every girl in class. You look like a beta male, inexperienced fuckboy who is 5 years behind every other dude in this class, and that's why you're by yourself. That's why girls don't want to date you, because you are such a cringe lord. You're embarrassing to be associated with. I wouldn't want to hear that shit. I wouldn't want to hear that shit. And look, girls, you have to say this stuff without hope or agenda that it's going to change. It's not. A quality man is never going to need to be told this, because he was raised right. He loves his mom. He loves his sisters. Even if he doesn't have a mom or sisters, he's been taught by somebody to respect and protect women, because we are vulnerable. We're physically vulnerable. We're socially vulnerable. We're financially vulnerable. And he's not taking advantage of that. It's a tugboat outside my house. I live by the river. Like, we get it. We get it. He's not pressing on that. He's protecting it, because what is an alpha? Not just a pack leader, a pack builder. Do you know that in a wolf pack, if you look at how wolves travel, at the very front of the pack, it's not the alpha. It's not the pack leader. It's the old and the weak and the sick. They're the pace car. They set the pace. And then behind them are like the captains, like the vice presidents of the wolf pack, right? And then in the middle, it's like the general wolf riffraff. At the very back, you have the alpha male. You have the pack leader. Why? Because he's going to make sure that everyone is protected, and he's bringing up the rear, which is the most vulnerable place, because he knows he's the strongest. Is that how men are treating you? Are they at your back, making sure you're good? No, not a guy who blabs like this. So you address it in private like that. And then you address it in public by you don't speak about this scandal at all. And if his friends come up to you, because a lot of times this is how you know, they're like, hey. So like the most vivid example I have of someone speaking about like the sex life we had was I was dating this hockey player, and he apparently was telling his teammates absolutely everything, because one of them came up to me and Brandon was like, hey, Shallon. I was like, hey, Brandon. He was like gross anyway. It's such a, I don't even think he plays anymore. And he's like, I've heard incredible things about you. And I was like, I bet you have, Brandon. You know, and I wanted to be like, oh my God, what did you hear? That he's still getting dead? And then I wanted to get mad. It's like, what the fuck? Why is Mark talking about this? And then like, I was like, you know what? We're going to keep it cute. We're going to keep it classy, and we're going to move on from this conversation. Because the whole phrase is lady in the street, freak in the sheets. I'm afraid I'm kind of inverted. I'm like a freak in the street than like vanilla in the sheets. No, I'm not. But I'm like, how about we just watch Murder, She Wrote in our footy pajamas and go straight to bed? Lucky boys. Lucky boys. But in the street, I'm like, I'm like a berserker. But I'm like, no, we're going to keep it classy, because then this is how you spin this in your favor. Then you look mysterious. You know, like Angelina Jolie's like PR pivot. Once she stopped acting so bizarre in public and like wearing leather and blood and went through her like St. John phase where she was literally shilling for St. John and all these like very dowdy, you know, first lady outfits. I think it increased her sexual like mystique, because people are like, oh, she looks so buttoned up, but you know there's a tiger in there, like, you know it. And you're like, oh, I just want to know so much more about her. It increases that fascination. Conversely, you have someone like Bella Thorne, who is just like, I have a vagina. Like it is, we fucking get it, Bells. No one is very fascinated by her. You know, one of them married Brad Pitt, and one of them dated Maud's son. Advantage Jolie. Because there's nothing, it seems like there's nothing left to discover with Bella. And so if the rumors are already going around that you're like kind of a saucy minx, okay, you can't stop the gossip, and the more you try, the more it feeds it. It just becomes gasoline. So just live to the contrary. I mean, always wear what you want, always wear what you want. But like, maybe refrain from posting like the Kylie butt shots for a little while. Like, maybe like keep it cute when you talk and don't swear as much. Like, make your manners really good. None of these shifts are bad for you. It's never bad to stop swearing. I know I swear so much and I hate it. It's literally my New Year's resolution. It's never bad to have good manners. It's never bad to leave a little bit of mystery, you know, and not to just like, here's my ass on the internet. And like define yourself in that way. And that's going to give you a sense of control and empowerment about your life. It's like, you know what? Let them say what they want. I know who I am, and I am controlling my message from here on out. You know, I'm keeping it cute. I'm keeping it together. I'm not being overly reactive to what's going on. I'm being proactive. And this is like kind of a good maybe, because you always just got to find the silver lining. We can't change what happens. We can change what it means. So maybe this is time for me to pull back and be like, okay, I hooked up with him and he told everyone. And the reason I hooked up with him is because I was blacked out and I was like bored and I was sad over my ex. And I just kind of wanted to feel like desirable and stuff. So maybe I'm going to work on those things. And maybe I'm not going to drink for a few weeks. And if I do drink, I'm just going to be with my friends. I'm not going to go to the frat house. You know, maybe there's some notes you can get from this. and this isn't slut shaming, girl, sleep with as many people as you can, like literally as many as you can, but really try to wait till after school, because once you move to a city, it's like you can just disappear right on into the fabric of the city. There's no fishbowl. But try to find the good in some sort of scandal. And sometimes you did do everything right, like Hailey did. She did everything right. She did not deserve for anyone to speak about this, but the fact that she isn't continuing to speak about it means it's dying out in the news cycle. Like, this even feels like it's too late for me to cover. You know, it's been a few days and it's like, is anyone still talking about this? Like, no, but she might still be thinking about it. And if it happened to you, you're probably still thinking about it too. So take the steps you can to like call this dipshit out in private, but don't take it to the streets and don't make it public, because it's just going to feed it more. And when people hear a public scandal, whether it's public in terms of your high school, public in terms of celebrity, they feel entitled to weigh in on it. I mean, look at this channel. You know? I would not have done a video about Justin and Hailey's sex life if Justin hadn't brought it up and introduced it into like evidence, basically. So if you're doing like everything right, and look, getting drunk and sleeping with the dude at a frat house, that is right. Ain't nothing wrong with that, girl. But if he's deciding to be an asshole and like talk about it, always ask yourself, it's like, what? Of course it bothers you to be spoken about, but like, how would I want to rewrite this differently? Should I maybe not have sent him that Snapchat? And maybe, like, great, send nudes to whoever you want. Actually, you know, I'm not in favor of sending nudes. I don't think people should have that kind of power over us. And I don't need to feel antsy that someone has naked pictures of me. It doesn't matter how much I trust them. Shit changes, okay? Things change. And I'm not betting my dignity and just not even my dignity, because you're not undignified if people see you naked. Who cares? But like my peace of mind on this frat guy coming through and being a quality dude for the next 40 years. No, it's that I don't trust anyone more than I trust myself. So all the pictures I've ever taken, if they got out, you know what? They're nice. They're Maxim, they're not Playboy, so I'm not afraid of it. But I learned that lesson by watching my friends go through that. Sending nudes. You guys, what you guys say, it's like, okay, fortunately, I didn't have to learn that lesson myself, like literally the only lesson I didn't have to learn myself in the hard way. So I'm like, now I'm not going to do that. And so that's one more piece of control, because when someone speaks about you and blabs about you and hurts your reputation, you feel out of control. That's what it does to you. So look around your life and be like, where are my weak spots in terms of control? Is it, I do drink too much. I do too many drugs. I party too much. I will go with a dude I just met to a bar and I get separated from my friends and no one's there to kind of like watch over me and make sure I get home okay. Like, look around and shore up everything you can, you know? And just know that you can ride this out. You'll ride the scandal out, but do not internalize whatever anyone is saying about you as fact, because it isn't fact. It's bullshit gossip. It's bullshit gossip. Someone said to me the other day on this channel, I hope you never have children. Because you're gonna be a terrible mother. I was like, that's not true. That's literally not true, but okay. If that makes you feel better, you fucking loser, I hope that made your day, because it didn't hurt mine. It's just kind of ridiculous. And living to the contrary of whatever they say, Shallon's a party girl. Okay, well, no, I'm not, because I'm staying and working on like an Etsy store or whatever it is and writing the next book and outlining things. Like, so when you know that you are living right and following your authentic, healthy path, these rumors won't have as much of an impact, you know? So someone's saying, you're gonna be a bad mom. I'm like, no, I won't. I know that. I'm a great friend. I'm a great girlfriend. I'm a great daughter. Okay. I'm also rich and I can have a nanny, okay? So all the things I don't wanna do, play tea party, I can outsource. So everything's gonna be fine. Weird. I want to know how you guys overcame reputation situations, what you did if you found out a guy was like blabbing about you, which is, my God, send me his @ I'll blab about him, see how he likes it. You know me. What does this necklace say? Doesn't say live, laugh, love. It says revenge. Gun for hire. Love you guys. Speaking of gun for hire, if you guys want a shout out or to break up with a fuckboy or call somebody out or wish your friend happy birthday, find me on Cameo, where you can book a video shout out with me. It's really fun. I love to connect with you guys that way. All right, believers and Shalloners, we'll see you next time. We're gonna talk more about JC and HB. Love you. Wait, JB and HB. Okay. Mwah.